I'm Tyler Zeller, and you're listening to the Sports Fix.
Have you gotten your copy of Cleveland's Finest yet? Highlighting the best moments, players, and media members in Cleveland sports history?
He won it! Milo hit a three-pointer on the side.
In-depth personal interviews with some of the top names in Cleveland sports fill the pages of this incredible book. Cleveland's Finest by Vince McKee is this year's must-have book for every Cleveland sports fan. Available now at Amazon.com. Get your copy today. Sports Fix listeners, do you tweet? So do we. So tweet with us 24/7 at the Sports Fix CLE.
Business owners and professionals, do you want to take your business, your product, your team, your event to the next level? You want to advertise right here with the Sports Fix. Our listeners are among the most loyal listeners, terrestrial or internet. The Sports Fix universe is not only the radio show, but tens of thousands of fans on Facebook and Twitter. Email me, Jerry Myers, thesportsfix at AOL.com. That's thesportsfix at AOL.com. And let me help you swing for the fences and hit it out of the park right here on the Sports Fix.
Portions of the Sports Fix brought to you by Harry Buffalo. Harry Buffalo, join the herd.
Good morning, I'm Doug Brown. It was not a happy Thanksgiving for the 49ers. They were dominated by the Seahawks 19-3 in San Francisco. Team owner Jed York tweeted late in the game the performance was not acceptable and apologized to fans. After the game, Cass Balke, the daughter of GM Trent Balke, tweeted, "Greg Roman can take a hike. The 49ers don't want you no more," referring to offensive coordinator Greg Roman. The tweet was later deleted. The 49ers and Seahawks meet again in Seattle 2 weeks from Sunday. Today on Black Friday, the focus shifts back to college football. 8th-ranked UCLA will be shopping for a Pac-12 South title as the Bruins host Stanford. We'll have that game here on ESPN Radio starting at 3 Eastern. It's also on ABC at 3:30 Eastern. If UCLA falls, then the winner of today's game in Tucson between number 11 Arizona and 13th-ranked Arizona State will take the South title. When the Bulls play the Celtics today, point guard Derrick Rose, center Joakim Noah both hope to play.
Sports Center on ESPN Radio is brought to you by Lowe's, the best place to save on Black Friday. Hurry in now for great deals to improve your home and garden. Lowe's, never stop improving.
You're listening to the Sports Fix.
Welcome back to the Sports Fix Live here across the Sports Fix Radio Network. J-Rock back with you as we roll on with the show. Hour 2 going on here. Still going to be joined by Jonathan Knight. I've got Ryan Ruiz from the Dog Pound Nation joining us. I almost did it, but I didn't. Jonathan Knight, sportswriter extraordinaire, going to be with us just a couple of minutes from now here. It's tough. I'm trying to keep up with everybody in the breaks. I'm getting hit with messages, text messages, social media, trying to coordinate. That's why I wear the driver's hat, and I am the conductor of the madness here on the Fix. Real quick, as we wait to get things back on the rails here, I heard during the break there, listening to the news, talking about some of the games yesterday. I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch Thanksgiving football. Always fun now that they've squeezed a third game into that there, but some good games yesterday. I'll tell you what, San Francisco, I wanted to mention real quick because they talked about it during the break. The gig, you got to think that the gig is up for San Francisco's coaching situation. You got to think Jim Harbaugh is as good as out the door. I mean, when the owner is tweeting out apologies and when the office people are are tweeting and deleting tweets about personnel and coaches and things like that. There are some serious issues going on. Now, not that there's anything wrong with coming out and apologizing. You know what I mean? Like, I get that. The game wasn't what you wanted it to be, and I understand if you feel the need to do that. We have seen these dysfunctional front office and different types of situations in Cleveland. So as somebody who's versed in this type of thing, and as you guys are too, tell me that that thing's not. And that's crazy because that's a team that's had a relatively high level of success. I'm pretty sure that they lost yesterday, and they're still an above 500 team here this season. Now, granted, it is a step back from where they've been the last few years. I think a lot of people saw that coming in the preseason with San Francisco and them being a little bit lesser. But defensively, Seattle just put it to work. And I've never been the biggest Colin Kaepernick. People compare Kaepernick and Wilson, but it's only because they played against each other in a high-profile situation. Because to me, there's not. There's a completely different, I don't want to say skill set, but just a different quarterback inside those two bodies. And Harbaugh, I'm telling you, just start packing this stuff now because I don't think this is going to end very well. And you know what? Hey, tomorrow... Hey, man, maybe they're going to get a Harbaugh there in Michigan, I think, before this thing is said and done. Let's go to the phone lines. Jonathan Knight, sports writer extraordinaire, stopping in with me during, they're all on the family trips and out on the roads and stuff, national lampooning it this week, and Lord knows that can be incredibly fun, and the Sports Fix could be a good break, too, so who knows. Jonathan Knight, sports writer extraordinaire, how you doing, my brother?
Hey, Jerry, you made the National Lampoon's comparison. That's good. I was thinking more along the lines of I feel like I'm running for statewide office at this point. Just crisscrossing
you're campaigning.
State, hitting this place, hitting that place, stopping in, stopping out. So, yeah, you nailed it on the head.
Doing the state run, handshaking. Hey, good to see you. Nice. All right, man. Congrats. I understand.
Turkey out the door. Yeah.
I was just telling my son last night, obviously, as people pass away and move on and that your routines change. I go, Jared, man, I said, we never got our own routine because for your entire life, we had 57 places to go. I mean, you can't develop your own tradition when you've got schedule it out. Well, we're going to go to this house at 11. Then we got to stop over at grandma's at noon. And then we got to stop at the other grandma's at 3. And then we got, and everybody wants a piece. And now that's slowed down. Now you go, man, I miss the craziness a little bit now because now it's just one place to go and one thing to do. And you're like, man, we used to be a lot busier on these holidays.
Yeah,
but
it seems to be that way, doesn't it? Sort of the millennial view of the holidays. Like you don't you spend the first half of your adult life bouncing around from place to place, and then you kind of hit that point, you're into middle age, and think, geez, I don't have any traditions of my own. Like, well, yeah, because you've been bouncing around like a racquetball for the last 15 years. So that's, and then suddenly go, quick, grab tradition, quick. So,
that's it. I told Jerry last night, I said, we don't have our own anything. Like, we don't wake up and go, oh, every year we do this, because we never got that. And now it's like, I want to make some stuff up. And it's like, don't you remember? We always go, fishing on Thanksgiving. I just want to add some stuff to it. But anyways, you know what, traditions, I'll tell you what, there's going to be some interesting Christmas shopping this year, because do you know how many people over the last 15 years have gotten those bargain basement Browns jerseys, game tickets, all of those things? That last game of the season is usually a freebie. You just go, hey, I got 24 tickets to the Browns game for you guys. Yeah, don't thank me, man. I got you hooked up for this weekend because, there's like 4-win seasons and stuff. So what are they going to do now when there's a demand? I got guys hitting me up going, hey, man, can you get Browns games? And I'm like, man, if they'd have lost the last couple of weeks, I may have been able to. But, man, they keep winning. Right. No, I can't necessarily get you Browns tickets. But it is now a much hotter ticket. Speaking of Thanksgiving, my man, you being an author, having such a big memory of things that have happened. I mean, one thing to be thankful for on the sports side is the fact that the Browns are playing Buffalo on the verge of December. And it's a playoff/type game for both teams.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
where'd that come from?
There's a great article in the Plain Dealer this week about just that. Just like, don't adjust your television. This is Buffalo and Cleveland with playoff stakes basically fighting for a playoff spot. And it's been a while. I think for the Browns, certainly look at 2007, and specifically, You think back to that sort of Blizzard Bowl that they played with Buffalo back in 2007, the 8-0 game, and that was similar type of play. It's like both teams, it's early December, both teams are sort of right on the brink, and it turns out neither of them made the playoffs. But at that time, going into that game, I was like, whoever wins gets to stay alive for another week and fight for that playoff spot, and whoever loses is out. And it feels very similar going into this week. I think there's just such a logjam, such sort of a bottleneck of teams going into that fighting for those last two wild card spots that, yeah, it's if you lose this week, you may not be mathematically dead, but yeah, you're going to be hurting. I don't know that 5 losses is going to get you in. Certainly not going to get you in clean. You're going to have to win a tiebreaker, I would think. So it's it's a big game for both teams.
JK, you and I didn't get a chance to catch up last week, so we're 2 weeks removed. Where are you at? Because each week as the season's gone, you've kind of crept in this direction of, well, another week, and I'm buying in a little bit. Well, I like what I'm seeing. Seriously though, at 7-4, and with the way they've gotten here, where are you at with the Browns? What do you think about this team?
I feel like whichever way I lean, they come back and hit me the other way. Like I feel like when I start to believe and kind of climb on that bandwagon, then they go and do what they did against Houston, and then you give up, and then they go and do what they did last week against Atlanta. And I feel like it's been like that pretty much all year.
Yep.
And so, yeah. So here again, we're at sort of a crossroads where after the way that they won, not necessarily that they won, but the way that they won. Again, that they pulled that out in another Cardiac Kids type of fashion. And win a tough game on the road and stay alive and move to 7-4. I mean, 7-4. Take a moment and just absorb that. Hopefully, that's something that, with a couple days off and thinking about things you're thankful for. My God, the 7 wins. I mean, at the beginning of the year, I would have told you at least it would have taken 2 seasons for the Browns to get 7 wins, and it's only taken them 11 games. So whatever happens from here on in these last 5 weeks, this has been a very nice development, but. Yeah, I mean, I feel like, again, we feel positive going into this week and going into a game that, again, is winnable. You look at, it's not a game that you necessarily expect them to win, but one that certainly they can win. So I'm leaning positive, but I think I know better. So at the same time that I feel good about last week and the way they finished, and again, the grit and determination, and of course Josh Gordon coming back, and that being basically exactly the boost that everyone was kind of looking for. There's lots to be positive about, but I gotta lean toward Buffalo. I just feel like the Browns still are at that point where they struggle to string together 2 good performances back to back. And even when they've won games back to back, one of them has been just a miracle that they pull out. It wasn't necessarily a good performance last week, for example. And they're against Houston. We're coming off the really big win over Cincinnati, 2 okay wins prior to that, and they just kind of hit that wall. So we talked all year about the Browns needing to kind of build that bridge and shorten that gap and sort of clear those hurdles to becoming a contender, and this is, again, one of them. This is a game that if you're going to be a contender, this is the kind of game you have to win. And I'm just not convinced that they're there yet. They have to convince me. So I'm going to go with Buffalo and hope that sort of does what gives the Browns what they need, because I feel like every time I've kind of jumped on that bandwagon and been positive, they've kind of wilted. So, but when they seem to play better when people don't believe in them, believe it or not, or at least when I don't believe in them. I've noticed that. So if that's what I need to do to take one for the team, I'm willing to do it.
That's what you're doing. You're doing this for them. You're like, this is for your own good here. I'm doing this for you, my friends. But,
if the price of a Browns victory is me being wrong, I'm willing to pay that price.
But every week, it's been kind of, you and I have been there. As I've taken your temperature, you're like, man, I'm telling you, they proved me wrong again last week. They did it. You're right, but I'm still not taking them again this week. And the next week,
and
you come out and you go,
and it tends to work out. Like it's not that I think that they're,
I know where you're at.
I'm giving up on them. It's just, this is a tough game. Let's face it. This is Buffalo coming back home. It's been an emotional couple of weeks in Buffalo. My goodness, just for the city alone, and the team, of course, having gone and played a home game on the road, essentially, and now coming back home, and it's going to be, it's going to be an emotional scene in Buffalo, and they're certainly going to be glad to be home, and there's going to be a lot to overcome, and Buffalo, lest we forget, they're having a very similar season to the Browns. This is not expected either. They were not supposed to be at this stage of the game, at this juncture of the season, to sort of be a contender and be in the conversation heading into December. So this is something's got to give, and we'll see what happens. I mean, hopefully the Browns, even when the Browns win, other than maybe the Pittsburgh game, rarely, I think, in the other 6 wins have you ever felt like, the Browns just laid it all